the guy who fixes our cars, and he brought it over here, and it's kind of dented up, so I'm not going to paint the dented part, but I'm going to do some experiments on this car hood to see which paints work best and how they work. In Mexico we just used Comex, and then we told people to go to the auto body shop and get it glossed. But here I actually don't know which ones work best, so I have a bunch of different ones. I have these Duplicolor Perfect Match ones, and I've got Montana, and I've got just a mix. So we're going to do, I've applied primer to certain parts of this car, so I've got 3 parts that are primed, and I'm going to do Montana primer, Montana with primer, Montana without primer, Duplicolor Perfect Match with primer, Duplicolor Perfect Match without primer, and just like a bunch of spray paints, you know, kind of a mix of Color Place and Painter's Touch and some other stuff with primer and without primer. So we're going to see which works better. Alright. Alright, so this is the hood. I'm going to try to get above it so you can see it. There's my hood. Now what I've done is I have taped over certain parts of it because I'm not going to paint the whole hood. I'm going to paint it in sections. I've got 6 sections because I'm going to do 3 different kinds of spray paint. I'm going to do Montana, Duplicolor, and just mixed, and I'm going to do each with and without primer. So I've taped off a bunch of places where I'm not going to paint, and I've primed, you know, a bunch of the surface with this primer Bright Touch, which I don't recommend. It spatters and the cap blocked very early, and I had to keep fixing it. So you can buy other colors of primer. Just remember that when you make land, whatever's underneath, that's what you're going to see in your land. So I'm not going to make a lot of land in this thing. Some things that I've done is I've made some small planets and I filled them with clay, because since I'm painting on this hood and it's kind of curved and we're outside, I really don't want these to slip, so I've made them a little heavier. And just do that with a little Play-Doh. And I've got some particularly heavy kinds of plates. And I've cleaned this thing pretty thoroughly. And I've taped it off and I've primed it. So that's where we are at the moment. And I'm going to start, I think, with let's test out the Duplicolor Perfect Match and let's see what it does. Okay, so this is pretty much where my stuff is going to go. This is the prime surface, and we're going to do Duplicolor here to see what happens. Gotta have a big planet, a smaller planet, and a smaller planet, and 3 pyramids, and just a little bit of lights in the sky. What I have is black, white, and this kind of green color, so that's what it's going to be. Let's do it. So the first thing is well, let's mark where these planets go. How about that? Alright, so you can see where everything goes. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some white as a base color, because I'm doing light to dark, so it's just going to be white, green, black, and then I'm going to use my newspaper and make a mancha. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of white on top of the tops because I want them not to have a lot of primer in there. Ooh. Alright, and there you see our first problem. The primer comes all the way through. So there's pretty much no way to avoid it. Unless we put our planets on afterwards. So I'll let the primer show through in this one, and then we'll do another one where we put the planets on afterwards, so you can see the two different effects. That's kind of interesting. Alright, meanwhile I'm going to shade these a little bit, because I don't want them quite so orangey. Alright, there we go. Okay, I can smell that this Duplicolor stuff has a lot of toluene in it, so not my favorite, but we'll see how it comes out. The primer comes all the way through.